When you think about British acting talent, names like Benedict Cumberbatch, Eddie Redmayne, and Cara Delevingne might come to mind as examples of pure skill and dedication. But there's another factor that played a significant role in launching these careers: connections. From elite boarding schools where future industry leaders studied together, to family trees dripping with aristocratic titles and entertainment royalty, to godparents who run major fashion empires, the path to stardom has been considerably smoother for some than others. While talent certainly matters, the statistics are striking. Over 60% of Britain's most successful actors attended fee-paying schools, and 42% of BAFTA winners were privately educated. This isn't about diminishing anyone's achievements, but rather pulling back the curtain on how the British entertainment industry really works, where your surname and your school tie can open doors that remain firmly closed to others. Here are 10 surprising stories about British actors whose family backgrounds, elite educations, and powerful connections gave them an undeniable head start in one of the world's most competitive industries. Benedict Cumberbatch. Both parents were working actors. Benedict Cumberbatch was born into the entertainment business, whether he liked it or not, with both parents, Timothy Carlton and Wanda Ventham, making their living as working actors on British television and stage. Growing up watching his parents perform, Cumberbatch absorbed the rhythms of the industry from childhood, understanding auditions, agents, and the peculiar demands of acting life before he ever stepped into drama school. His family connections extended far beyond show business, however, tracing back through submarine commanders, diplomats, and even plantation owners who received compensation when slavery was abolished. Educated at Harrow School, one of England's most prestigious institutions, Cumberbatch was surrounded by the children of the powerful and wealthy, and by the time he completed his master's degree at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, he already had representation from an agent. His parents reportedly warned him against following them into acting, calling it a tough business, but their own success in the field meant Cumberbatch entered the industry with invaluable insider knowledge that most aspiring actors spend years trying to acquire. When he landed his breakthrough role in the BBC's Sherlock, he wasn't an unknown struggling for recognition, but rather someone who understood how the system worked from the inside. Cara Delevingne. 16 godparents. Including Joan Collins. Most people have 2 or 3 godparents if they're lucky, but Cara Delevingne reportedly has 16, including Hollywood legend Joan Collins and Nicholas Coleridge, who served as president of Condé Nast International and was involved with London Fashion Week. Her maternal grandfather, Sir Jocelyn Stevens, was a publishing executive and chairman of English Heritage, while her paternal great-grandfather was Hamer Greenwood, a Canadian-born British politician who became Viscount Greenwood. Her grandmother, Jane Sheffield, served as lady-in-waiting to Princess Margaret, placing the family at the heart of British high society. Through her family tree, Delevingne can trace her lineage back to French kings, Anglo-Norman royalty, and even Charlemagne the Great, with connections to King Henry VIII and at least 4 of his wives. Growing up in London's ultra-exclusive Belgravia district, she attended Bedales School, a prestigious private institution, and her first modeling job came at age 10 for Italian Vogue. With godparents controlling major fashion publications and family friends throughout the entertainment industry, Delevingne's path into modeling and acting was paved with connections that most people couldn't access in a lifetime. Her godmother, Joan Collins, opened doors in Hollywood, while her godfather's position at Condé Nast helped establish her modeling career before she'd even finished her teenage years. When she transitioned from modeling to acting with roles in films like Paper Towns and Suicide Squad, critics questioned whether talent or connections drove her casting, and the answer likely involved both. Eddie Redmayne, Eton, classmate of Prince William. Eddie Redmayne attended Eton College on a music scholarship, placing him in the same year as Prince William, the future King of England, creating a network of connections that extended to the highest levels of British society. His great-grandfather was Sir Richard Augustine Studdert Redmayne, a noted civil and mining engineer, and while his immediate family didn't work in entertainment, their wealth and status ensured Redmayne received the kind of education that most British actors can only dream about. At Eton, he wasn't just learning academics, but absorbing confidence, polish, and the unshakable self-belief that comes from being educated alongside royalty and the children of Britain's elite. The school provided him with drama facilities including designers, carpenters, managers, and wardrobe staff, resources that gave him professional-level training while still a teenager. After Eton, he studied history of art at Trinity College, Cambridge, where he performed in student productions and was spotted by talent agents who saw potential in this well-educated, articulate young man from the right background. His first professional stage role came in a Sam Mendes production of Oliver at the London Palladium, and while he had a tiny part as a workhouse boy, just being in a Mendes production at that age demonstrated the kind of access his background provided. Redmayne has acknowledged that attending Eton sometimes worked against him at auditions, where casting directors made assumptions about him based on his school, but he used those same connections to build a career that led to an Academy Award for portraying Stephen Hawking. Tom Hiddleston. Aristocratic mother, elite boarding schools. Tom Hiddleston's mother, Diana Patricia Servais, came from aristocratic stock that included Vice Admiral Reginald Servais and Sir Edmund Vestey, a food magnate who received awards from the Queen during World War I. His paternal grandfather served in the Royal Artillery and worked in the shipyards, giving Hiddleston a blend of working-class Scottish roots and upper-class English privilege that would later serve his acting career well. Sent to boarding school at age 7 at Windlesham House School, he later moved to the Dragon School in Oxford before attending Eton College at age 13, joining the same elite institution that had educated Eddie Redmayne and would later educate Prince William. At Eton, Hiddleston performed in school plays alongside Redmayne, most notably in A Passage to India, where Redmayne played the female lead while Hiddleston played the front right leg of an elephant. Despite the absurdity of that particular production, Eton's drama facilities and connections gave both actors professional training and industry access that state school students rarely received. Hiddleston continued to Cambridge University, where he earned a double first in classics at Pembroke College. And while there, he was spotted by talent agent Lorraine Hamilton during a production of A Streetcar Named Desire. He studied at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, graduating in 2005, and his breakthrough came when Kenneth Branagh cast him as Loki in Marvel's Thor, after they'd worked together previously. Branagh later said he told Marvel executives to trust him on Hiddleston, using his own reputation to guarantee the casting, the kind of personal endorsement that comes from being embedded in Britain's theatrical elite. Damian Lewis, city broker father, Eton education. Damian Lewis was born in London's wealthy St. John's Wood neighborhood, the son of a city broker who worked at Lloyd's of London, and a mother from an upper-class background whose grandfather served as Lord Mayor of London. Sent to boarding school at age 8, Lewis attended Ashdown House before moving to Eton College, where he formed his own theater company at 16 and began developing the confidence and ambition that would define his career. His maternal great-great-grandfather was Sir Alfred Yarrow, an eminent naval shipbuilder and philanthropist of partial Sephardic Jewish descent, connecting Lewis to centuries of British industrial and commercial power. At Eton, he was educated alongside the children of politicians, aristocrats, and business leaders, creating a network that extended throughout British society. After Eton, he studied at Guildhall School of Music and Drama from 1990 to 1993 alongside Daniel Craig and Joseph Fiennes. And upon graduation, he worked with the Royal Shakespeare Company, where director Steven Spielberg saw him perform. Spielberg subsequently cast him as Richard Winters in the HBO miniseries Band of Brothers, the role that launched Lewis to international recognition. Lewis has been defensive about suggestions that his privileged background gave him unfair advantages, arguing that privately educated actors remain a minority in the profession. But the statistics tell a different story, with over 60% of successful British actors coming from fee-paying schools. What Lewis's education provided wasn't just training, but also the Polish accent and social confidence that made him comfortable in rooms with powerful people, skills that proved invaluable when navigating Hollywood. Rosamund Pike, opera singer parents, badminton school. Rosamund Pike's parents were both opera singers, with her father Julian Pike teaching at the Birmingham Conservatoire and her mother Caroline Friend performing throughout Europe, meaning Pike spent her early childhood traveling to opera houses and absorbing theatrical culture from infancy. As an only child of successful performing artists, she witnessed firsthand how professional performers worked, rehearsed, and navigated the entertainment industry's peculiar demands. She attended badminton school in Bristol on scholarship, a prestigious private institution where she studied alongside the daughters of Britain's elite, and it was there that she developed her love of performance. While appearing as Juliet in a National Youth Theatre production of Romeo and Juliet when she was 18, she was spotted by agent Dallas Smith, who she's described as the most genuine and long-lasting relationship in her professional life. But that discovery wouldn't have happened without the training and confidence she developed through years of private education. Pike went on to study English literature at Wadham College, Oxford, taking a year off during her degree to pursue acting work and gaining stage experience in productions by David Hare and Arthur Miller. The combination of her parents' artistic background and her Oxford education gave her a level of cultural capital that most actors couldn't access. And when she auditioned for the role of Bond girl Miranda Frost in Die Another Day, she became the first Bond girl to have attended Oxford University. The casting directors weren't just hiring an actress, but someone whose background matched the sophisticated, educated character they were creating, demonstrating how class and education shape which roles actors can even be considered for. Emily Blunt, barrister father, Major General grandfather, Emily Blunt's father. Oliver Simon Peter Blunt worked as a barrister, while her mother, Joanna Mackey, was a former actress and teacher, giving Emily both legal and theatrical lineage. Her grandfather was Major General Peter Blunt, and her uncle is Member of Parliament Crispin Blunt, connecting her family to Britain's military and political establishment. She attended Ibstock Place School, a co-ed private school in the London suburb of Roehampton, where she received the kind of education that emphasized confidence, articulation, and cultural knowledge. Struggling with a severe stutter from age 7 to 14, Emily found that acting in school plays allowed her to speak fluently by using voices different from her own, and a teacher's encouragement to perform gave her both therapy and career direction. At age 16, she transferred to Hurtwood House, a private boarding school near Dorking in Surrey that was renowned for its performing arts program, where she excelled in sports, cello, and singing while completing a 2-year theater course. In August 2000, while still a student at Hurtwood House, she performed at the Edinburgh Festival and was signed by agent Kenneth Macready, who led her directly to the West End and the BBC. In 2001, at just 18 years old, she appeared opposite Dame Judi Dench in Peter Hall's production of The Royal Family at the Haymarket Theatre, winning the Evening Standard Award for Best Newcomer. Most actors spend years trying to get representation and professional stage work, but Blunt's combination of private education, family connections, and access to elite training programs meant she transitioned from student to professional almost seamlessly. By the time she landed her breakthrough role in The Devil Wears Prada in 2006, she'd already accumulated stage and television experience that would have taken working-class actors much longer to achieve. Helena Bonham Carter, great-granddaughter of Prime Minister Asquith. Helena Bonham Carter descends from one of Britain's most politically powerful families as the great-granddaughter of Herbert H. Asquith, who served as Prime Minister from 1908 to 1916. Her family tree contains barons and baronesses, diplomats, and her great-uncle, Anthony Asquith, who directed classics like Pygmalion and The Importance of Being Earnest, embedding her in generations of British cultural and political elite. Her maternal grandfather, Eduardo Proper de Callejon, was a Spanish diplomat who was awarded the honorific Righteous Among the Nations by Israel for helping save Jews during World War II, while her maternal grandmother came from an upper-class Jewish family from France, Austria, and Germany. Growing up in such a family meant Bonham Carter understood power, influence, and how social networks operated from childhood, watching how her relatives navigated Britain's highest circles. She attended South Hampstead High School and Westminster School in London before being accepted to King's College, Cambridge, though she ultimately turned down her place to pursue acting, a decision that demonstrated both confidence and the security of knowing her family background would provide other opportunities if acting failed. Her cousin Crispin Bonham Carter is also an actor, showing how the family maintained multiple connections within the entertainment industry. Bonham Carter experienced family trauma during her childhood when her father suffered a stroke that left him wheelchair-bound, and while this undoubtedly caused hardship, her family's wealth and connections ensured they could afford the best care and maintain their lifestyle. When she began her acting career, casting directors already knew who she was or recognized her surname, and that recognition opened doors that remained closed to actors without such prestigious lineage. Lily Collins, daughter of Phil Collins, godmother Joan Collins. Lily Collins is the daughter of British rock legend Phil Collins, known for hits like In the Air Tonight and his work with Genesis, making her childhood one of international travel, celebrity encounters, and insider access to the entertainment world that shaped her understanding of fame and performance. Her godmother is actress Joan Collins, connecting Lily to Hollywood royalty and providing mentorship from someone who understood the industry's demands and opportunities. Growing up as the child of one of the world's most successful musicians meant Collins attended exclusive schools, met influential people through her father's career, and understood from childhood how celebrity worked, lessons that would prove invaluable when she launched her own acting career. She studied broadcast journalism at the University of Southern California, but was already working as a model and actress while still a student, landing roles that capitalized on both her talent and her recognizable surname. When she was cast as Emily Cooper in the Netflix series Emily in Paris, critics debated whether her performance justified the show's success or whether her famous background helped secure such a high-profile lead role. But Collins had been carefully building her career through strategic choices that leveraged her connections. Her father's success gave her financial security to pursue acting without the desperation that drives many performers to take any available work, and she could afford to be selective about roles, wait for better opportunities, and invest in the training and presentation that Hollywood demands. Collins has acknowledged her privileged background while arguing that she still had to prove herself. And while that's certainly true, the starting line for children of celebrities is miles ahead of where most actors begin their careers. Domhnall Gleeson, son of acclaimed actor Brendan Gleeson. Domhnall Gleeson grew up in Dublin as the son of Brendan Gleeson, one of Ireland's most respected actors who had appeared in films like Braveheart, Gangs of New York, and the Harry Potter series, meaning Domhnall's childhood was spent watching his father work, meeting directors and producers, and absorbing industry knowledge that most actors take years to acquire. While technically Irish rather than British, Gleeson worked extensively in British film and theatre, making him part of the interconnected UK and Irish entertainment industries that share talent, productions, and opportunities. His father's success meant Domhnall understood how sets worked, how to handle press, and how to navigate the peculiar social dynamics of film production before he ever stepped in front of a camera himself. He studied media arts at Dublin Institute of Technology, but his father's connections opened doors that would have remained closed to unknown actors from working-class backgrounds. When Domhnall began auditioning, casting directors already knew his surname and had positive associations with his father's professionalism and talent, giving him credibility before he'd even performed. His breakthrough came with roles in films like Never Let Me Go and the Harry Potter franchise, where his father had already established relationships with producers and directors who were willing to give Brendan's son a chance. Gleeson has since appeared in major franchises, including Star Wars, where he played General Hux, and his success demonstrates both genuine talent and the advantages that come from growing up inside the industry. His siblings, including Brian and Fergus Gleeson, have also pursued acting careers, showing how entertainment families tend to replicate across generations, creating dynasties that dominate casting opportunities and maintain industry connections that outsiders can barely access.